Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to do something a little bit different. There's been a lot of leaks going around and that's fine, but I kind of want to talk about the possible roadmap that we'll hopefully see a little bit after Skulls. As you are aware, this current roadmap is considered obsolete, so I kind of just want to have a little bit of fun with some speculation. We've been hearing a lot of rumors too, and I've been pretty on the ball when it comes to Warhammer free stuff, so this could be kind of fun to talk about. So, without further ado, let's begin. Obviously, this isn't going to be part of the roadmap as it's coming out later, but yeah, we have to talk about it. Skulls is coming up on the 23rd, so this coming Thursday. And I'm pretty much doubling down. I think it's going to be Karanak. So yeah, Legendary Hero announcement, possibly not the release. I imagine that the release will be in 5.1, as we've been getting a decent amount of hotfixes lately, so I don't think that they're going to drop a Legendary Hero. Whilst things are a bit volatile, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, this is the only character I can see coming in. I would expect Sylar, but at this point, I think that they're going to go for something easy to make. They've already got the basic rig and animations, and it makes sense, once again, to finally do something corn-related during a Skulls event. Then we turn our attentions to 6.0. So 6.0 is likely going to be Monkey King and Golfag, so I know people have their hearts set on Slaanesh versus Elves versus Dark Elves. Believe me, I do too. If you follow this channel, you'll know that I am a massive fan of Slaanesh, but yeah, there's been loads of leaks, there's been loads of rumors. The leaks have been kind of popping up recently, but I've been hearing those rumors, as you can tell from previous videos, for quite some time. This would be Monkey King acting as some sort of mini race for Grand Cathay, focusing very heavily on Tiger Men, Monkey Warriors, you know, playing as the Nanman were to the Three Kingdoms, essentially. Just something drastically different than Golfag Maneater leading the Ogres, because I mean, he's just been found in the game files, so yep. An untextured model and pretty much just a few commits are already in there. That would finish up the Ogres too. The Ogres are pretty much just missing Lord and Hero options, some mount options, I guess, and like 2 or 3 units. That's pretty much it. So all the attention would essentially go to Grand Cathay, but we'd likely see some sort of reworks coming into effect for the Ogres. Alongside this, I imagine a free Legendary Lord, as these are back on the menu, and that would be Li Dao the Fire Dragon. I really doubt that they would be able to make another Cathay DLC centered around that area of Grand Cathay, as yeah, the Monkey King would kind of fill that option. So Li Dao being free makes perfect sense, and that would take us up to 99 playable Legendary Lords. We'll talk about the 100th in just a small while, but I think that this is completely viable, mostly because Cathay is very popular. Creative Assembly, Sega, and Games Workshop in various financial reports have stated that they want to go into the China market a lot more. Grand Cathay is a way to kind of do that. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame because I don't think Cathay needs content so quickly. There's of course rumors of only having 1.5 years left to support. We'll talk about that in a future video. I think that can be extended, but if it's the case and that currently is the idea, they're probably going to want to throw out as much Grand Cathay as possible. After 6.0, if we do end up getting 3 Legendary Lords, well, that means that we are at 99, and they said that something special was going to happen at 100, and something really special could potentially happen. I see 2 things happening here. One, we could have Boris Todbringer finally being playable, like properly, with faction effects, lord effects, voice acting, and possibly even adding in the Cult of Ulrich for free. This would be a bunch of reskinned units essentially, but it would be a nice thing to do to kind of just be like, hey, thank you for everything. I think that this is entirely possible, but they'll probably leave that for DLC. So the second option is Thanquol, Grayseer Thanquol, one of the most important characters in the Warhammer fantasy setting. Very popular, very famous. Yeah, I mean, it would be easy to add him in. I don't see Vermin Lords coming in until a future End Times DLC, so they could add in Thanquol and Bone Ripper for another Skaven campaign. I know some people are sick of the Skaven, but people have been waiting for Thanquol since he was confirmed. Keep that in mind. Creative Assembly actually confirmed that Grayseer Thanquol will eventually make it into the game, and since then people have been asking non-stop, to the point that Creative Assembly actually asked people, stop asking, he's going to come, just give it time. There's been rumors for Nagash and Neferata being in the End Times DLC, and I kind of believe those, so I don't think any of them would come in anytime soon. It's a shame though, because I was expecting some big vampire DLC, but we'll talk about that in the future. Thanquol seems like the best option. Boris is a good one too, but I don't know. unless he gets his unique units, and to be honest, if they want to be really nice, just finally finish up the Red Duke also. But Thanquol, I guess, is the best option here. Then we go into 7.0, and there's been a leak for it, so I kind of expect that this is going to happen next. The Dogs of War. If you don't know, during the Shadows of Change drama, there were game files found that were centered around the Dogs of War. Lucarenza and Bertsche the Besieger, I believe. And these ones, I mean, it just makes sense to get the last remaining proper army book for Warhammer Fantasy into the game before eventually things do end. Or if things get lucky, maybe we might see this as a rebirth, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Now, it makes perfect sense for the Dogs of War after the Ogres, because the Ogres could fix up the mercenary mechanics, finally have them fixing up proper, same thing as the contract system that could be reworked, and then that leads into the Dogs of War straight after. Now, how the Dogs of War can exactly be implemented, we'll have to wait and see, because at this point it could be anything. They could be introduced as a DLC where it's just literally mercenaries and a character that kind of works as a semi-horde, very similar to... oh my god, I can't remember that character from Troy who was the Egyptian dude. Memnon, I believe. Yeah, who could recruit people from a map panel rather than actually fighting and recruiting from specific areas and getting certain buildings. With a very heavy emphasis on the Dogs of War being for loads of factions playable there, so you'll be able to recruit Dogs of War, specific Dogs of War, as the Dark Elves, and you'll have some other units that you'll be able to recruit as the Empire, including the very famed Hot Pots, which was pretty much confirmed and we haven't still seen in game. Potentially this could be the last race pack if things don't get expanded upon, because we did hear all these rumors about mini race packs. However, as things have changed for Creative Assembly, you know, 2 sets of layoffs and roadmaps changing, yep, this is something that unfortunately could be kind of brutal. But one thing is very certain, Creative Assembly are trying to recuperate funds and race packs do sell very well. If the Dogs of War are done in a very interesting and unique way, it could potentially be a very high seller. I know for a fact that the race packs sell the most, so they're going to want to bring that out sooner rather than later to get for a really strong financial year, especially as all this talk has been coming out about Thrones of Decay while selling loads of copies hasn't really made too much of a profit because there was a delay there which extended the amount of work needing to be put on. It's one of these things where businesses treat certain numbers as a bit of a problem. I don't know. Those are just rumors though, so keep that in mind. Now, before we move on, all these things could realistically be seen in this year, 2024. Well, better yet said, 2024 to 2025, because the last roadmap was essentially centered around the financial year. Shadows of Change coming out in August, we would have seen Thrones of Decay in December had the shit show not happened, and then we would have seen, yeah, maybe March for the Slaanesh DLC. So I'm expecting the Skull stuff to come out maybe in June. I mean, that makes the most sense because 1.5 months after the release of the DLC, more or less. Then I could expect, and this is just expectations, the Monkey King DLC coming out in, let's say August, September. The 100th around December to have a little bit of fun there as a Christmas gift, or just before, because they usually break around the 15th of December, so maybe at the end of November, and then Dogs of War, if Dogs of War do happen, around February or March. Now, I think stuff like that is pretty much expected when it comes to a roadmap. We wouldn't get something very detailed outlining everything else that's to come. I do think eventually we will get the Slaanesh DLC, something with Union and the Sea Dragon, because again, Cathay DLC, they expect it to sell, and hopefully at some point a Norska rework, because goddamn, that race is, oh my god, those poor bastards. This is why I'm not 100% too sure that the rumors of 1.5 years left are actually true. There's been loads of things and loads of other rumors popping around saying that CA Sophia is going to be working on the next DLCs, and we'll talk about that in a future video, and if it's the case that that is true, I imagine that this game will last longer. Plus, considering how great CA Sophia has been for certain things, like for example, you guys might not be aware, I did say this in one of the other videos, they've found a way to move the map away from 0-0 in Total War Pharaoh. That's really, really impressive. So if we can get devs like that working on Warhammer 3, we're going to be in for a really good time. But with all that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you expect anything to be different? And let's start a bit of a discussion. I wanted to talk about this before, I don't know, Skulls got too close. Obviously, I'm not going to be here for Skulls, unfortunately, which really sucks, but I'm finally having a holiday, which is desperately needed. But don't worry, I've got loads of content prepared in advance, so you guys will be able to still get daily stuff from me. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything. It It's actually just a thing to help the channel kind of get a little bit noticed from the YouTube algorithm. I'm trying to really push to 100k for this year, which I think is going to be doable, but I really do need your help for that. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.